What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 1 of Raw Reactions first thing in the morning. I am your host, Eric. Raw tonight was excellent. Great stuff from top to bottom, so no more wasted time. Let's get right into the action. So Raw kicks off live from Los Angeles this week with Shane McMahon, who apparently is running Raw again because fuck that WrestleMania match, it meant nothing. That aside, he makes a women's championship match between Natty and Charlotte. He announces the tag team tournament for the New Day's tag team championship. Last but not least, he announces that Sami Zayn deserves another shot at the #1 contendership for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So he makes a match between AJ Styles and Sami Zayn. Now, if Sami Zayn wins, the match at Payback turns into a triple threat. Now, my boy Kevin Owens is none too pleased about this because he never technically lost that match or his Intercontinental Championship. So he comes down to the ring and he is not happy. Kevin Owens is pissed. Now, he says he deserves a shot at the title. He deserves a shot at the IC title. Kevin Owens deserves everything. Shane McMahon decides that he's going to make a match. It's going to be Kevin Owens versus Cesaro, and the winner will go on to Payback to face The Miz in an Intercontinental Championship match. That's the match that kicks off the show. Great match between these two. I really enjoyed it. Back and forth. Kevin Owens' shit-talking game in this match was fantastic. At one point, he holds Cesaro in a headlock and just screams out, "Headlock Master!" Who the hell brags about being a headlock master? Another instance of this was him just smashing the announce table, sending JBL's hat flying, and Kevin Owens goes and picks up the cowboy hat, puts it back on his spot on the announce table, and then he just looks at JBL and says, "I'm sorry, I got carried away, John." Just some quick examples of how his talking throughout the match and how it picks up on the mics, it just adds so much to it. It adds a little element of comedy without being the goofy kind of Santino comedy that WWE seems to be so fond of. In the end, Cesaro goes over Kevin Owens. Cesaro is your new #1 contender. Up next, for some reason, we have Dr. Phil with Charlotte and Ric Flair, but I don't give a fuck, so moving on. Next up was a tag team tournament round 1, the first match of the tournament between the Lucha Dragons and the Dudley Boys. Now, this match was okay. It wasn't anything special. I did like Bubba Ray's trash talking during the match. I'm a big fan, if you can't tell, I'm a big fan of trash talking. And Bubba Ray and I think Kevin Owens are the two guys who do it the best in WWE right now. One thing that bothered me during this match is there was a kind of an important moment of the match where Kalisto was injured by Devon lowering the top rope and Kalisto crashing outside. This all happened during a commercial break, which, I mean, I know you got to take commercial breaks, but they couldn't have taken it at maybe a less important part of the match. I don't know, that just kind of blew my mind, and I hate it when they kind of cut out important parts of a match because of a commercial break. But yeah, like a decent match. Both teams, did their thing. In the end, the Dudley Boys won. They move on in the tournament. Right after the match, Enzo and Cass came out to talk some more trash, which was fantastic because Enzo on the mic is money. The highlight for me was when he called Devon Devin. I don't remember exactly what the situation is. Something about he's there because his parents banged. How you doing? But he called Devon Devin, and big time pop for me. I loved it. And then we had another Roman Reigns promo, which is he cut basically the exact same promo he did on SmackDown. So if you didn't see the promo on SmackDown, well, then you got to see it tonight on Raw. I think now instead of saying hi, he says, "I'm not a good guy, I'm not a bad guy, I'm the guy," which was cool for about 15 seconds, and now it just bothers me. If you can't tell, I'm not a big fan of Roman Reigns. He doesn't bother me. His in-ring is okay. It's nothing to write home about. I just hate his character. I want him to go full douchebag or just stop doing it and just go full happy-go-lucky Roman. This middle kind of ground that he's doing is awful. Not a fan, and his promos suck. Thankfully, the League of Nations comes out. They start going back and forth with Roman, then start going down towards the ring. They look like they're going to attack him. Suddenly the lights go out, and the Wyatts are here for some reason. And they start kind of backing up Roman and attack the League of Nations. So I guess they're trying to make the Wyatts a face team now. I guess they realized that they fucked them up completely as heels, so they might as well try to make them faces. Shane McMahon says that he really liked what he saw with Bray and Roman being on the same side, so he makes a tag team match of Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt versus the League of Nations for later tonight. That will be your main event. All right, moving on now, we come to Natalya versus Charlotte Flair for the WWE Women's title. Before I move on, Dr. Phil comes out again for some reason, and then he sits down next to Byron Saxton. So we had Byron Saxton interviewing Dr. Phil, aka I Wanna Fucking Die. Now the ladies, on the other hand, put on a fantastic match. Natty and Charlotte have always had really good chemistry going all the way back to their matches, I think last year or the year before in NXT. Always great stuff, always fun to watch. They elevate the women's division every time they step into the ring. But, just like WrestleMania, my problem with this match was the finish when Papa Flair, Ric Flair, whatever you want to call him, pulls out the referee. Charlotte gets DQ'd. Natty wins, but Charlotte keeps the title. This is a big problem I have right now with the way things are going. Sure, it's a shiny new belt. It looks great. Everybody's losing their fucking mind. I'm sorry, people, but if you change the belt but keep booking the same shit you were booking before, it's not going to change that much, and we're seeing that right now. I don't like Flair getting involved in these matches. This is a time for the women to shine, and to have a man come in there and kind of mess everything up, it just gives a message out there that your current women's champion needs a man to hold on to her title, and I don't really think that's a message that the WWE wants to put out there. My issues aside, the match was very, very good. The finish was awful, but overall the match was pretty good, so I didn't hate it. It's the tag tournament time again. This time we have the Usos versus Curtis Axel and Heath Slater, the Social Outcasts. Now, I was pulling for the Outcasts here because I'm so sick of the Usos. They need to freshen up. They need to be a little bit different. They've been doing the same thing for too long now. This match was all right. It wasn't anything special. I'm just going to skip it here. The Usos won, but the big news, the big story here was that after the match, Anderson and Gallows completely destroyed the Usos. Kicked their asses all over the building. It was fantastic, and maybe, is it time? But it looks that way. The rumors were true. Anderson and Gallows are in the WWE, and the New Day is fucked. Alright, so now we got a backstage segment with The Miz and Maurice. I'm only bringing this up because I feel I need to point out, as someone who's from Quebec, you can hear the way I'm speaking. I just want to make it very clear for everybody out there watching that not everybody from Quebec sounds like Maurice when she speaks in English, okay? We don't all sound like we took too many shots to the head with a baseball bat. I just wanted to put that in here. Kind of a PSA, if you will. Our next match was my match of the night. We had AJ Styles go against Sami Zayn. Now, if Sami Zayn won the match, he would be added into the title match at Payback. This was fantastic from start to finish. Now, before I go into why I liked it so much, there were a few sloppy spots. Sami Zayn seemed to be maybe just a step or two behind Styles on certain spots, but it certainly didn't take away from the overall presentation. It was great. It had a little bit of everything. It had some hard-hitting moves, check. It had some high-flying, which Sami Zayn always brings, so check. And tons of near falls, which the indie crowd loves the near falls, so check that one off too. It had a little bit of everything for everyone. I think these two guys are at the top of their game right now, and I mean, Zayn coming off a fantastic WrestleMania weekend, not only his match with Nakamura, but his latter match at WrestleMania, and now his match with AJ Styles. If you ask me right now, in my opinion, the hottest star in WWE, or the hottest rising star, I should say, in WWE, is without a doubt Sami Zayn. He's getting really good crowd responses. People are starting to get behind him. And I just absolutely can't wait for the Kevin Owens-Sami Zayn feud in the WWE. I think it's going to be great. But after a long, hard-fought match, AJ Styles picks up the win, and he is going on to Payback to face Roman Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Alright, so up next we have a highlight reel with Chris Jericho, who is teasing a huge guest. A huge guest, the hugest guest in the history of the highlight reel, and that guest turned out to be Chris Jericho. Right. Yeah, so anyway, Jericho stood in the ring and said, "Hey, Jericho, how you doing today?" I'm great, Jericho. Thanks for asking. And that was basically his promo. He talked to himself. He interviewed himself, which probably something I would do, if I'm going to be honest. It's probably something I would do, so I dig it. Ambrose music hits in the middle of Jericho's hard-hitting interview. He comes to the ring with a potted plant and a sign of some sort. He puts the sign up over the Geritron 5000, which is incredibly expensive, by the way. And he turns the highlight reel into the Ambrose Asylum. Now, for anybody wondering why Brock Lesnar beat the shit out of Dean Ambrose, it's because Dean Ambrose is a goofy bastard. He's like Stone Cold Steve Austin if Stone Cold Steve Austin spent his day smoking joints and popping mushrooms. He's just a weird dude, and his jokes, I mean, they're funny. He's a funny guy. It's just he's goofy, and if you want us to take him seriously, this is not the way it's going to happen. I like Dean Ambrose. I think he has a lot of potential, but I absolutely despise his, yeah, I'm a big goofy guy, and I like to have fun, and I'm crazy, because it's not convincing at all. This was kind of a waste of a segment, so I guess we're going to get a Jericho-Ambrose match at Payback. Next up was a squash match between Apollo Crews and Adam Rose. Apollo pretty much dominated the entire match. I'm a big fan of Apollo Crews. I really hope WWE starts doing something with him soon instead of just having him come out and beat the shit out of somebody every week. Tremendous potential, and I'm calling it right now, future WWE champ. Our main event for the evening was Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns versus Del Rio and Sheamus from the League of Nations. Honestly, I would have preferred to see Cesaro, Kevin Owens, or Sami Zayn and AJ Styles in the main event, but hey, Roman's the champion, so you give him the main event. I guess if your name is anything but CM Punk, being the champion means you get the main event. So this match was alright, with nothing to write home about. It wasn't anything incredible. It was actually kind of a low point for me of the night. But the one thing that I am taking away from this match is that Bray Wyatt could be a fantastic babyface. He could be huge. I mean, some would argue that he already is babyface. I mean, the second his music hits, people are punching each other to reach into their pockets and get their cell phones to, with the little light, yay, it's fun, we're interacting. Just based on that alone, I mean, he's been getting that reaction since he pretty much debuted, and he was supposed to be a heel. I think WWE finally realized that they have completely fucked up the Wyatt family as a monster heel faction. They're not a threat anymore. So, what do you do when someone's not a threat? You make him a good guy, then you sell a bunch of merchandise to people. Yay! Jokes aside, though, I think that Bray Wyatt could be a fantastic babyface. LA was behind him. They were behind him more than they were behind Roman Reigns, and it wasn't even close. In the end, Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt pick up the win over the League of Nations, and Raw goes off with a stare down between Roman Reigns and the Wyatt family. So there you have it, guys. Those were my Raw reactions first thing in the morning. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at MTLBroski for all the latest first thing in the morning news. Go check out my other shows, which involve video games and jokes and good times and people dancing in the streets and shooting off streamers into the air, popping champagne bottles. Sorry, I got carried away. Go check out the Facebook fan group at facebook.com/FTITM. And as always, be good to each other. Don't be assholes online when you're gaming. And check back very soon for more Raw reactions, more video games, more of everything. Hooray! It's my life in the box.